Did you hire Titan Email through Roshan and already got confused when connecting the domain? Today you are going to discover the proper method to accurately direct your domain to Titan Email by utilizing the appropriate records. Greetings fellow wizards and welcome to VPS Wizard. It is said in legends that those who disregard the enchanting magic of likes, subscriptions and comments may eventually find themselves confronting digital curses. So don't take any chances, subscribe to the channel and activate the notification bell. Without further ado, clear the image. Before any configuration, you need to have an appropriate email plan for your project. I have provided a link with a 20% discount coupon valid for the first purchase of the annual plan or higher. This link is in the video description, but it can also be used via the QR code that is also on the screen. With the appropriate plan established, we can now proceed to the subsequent part. If you already have a domain, you will need to access the DNS zone of the company where it was purchased. In my case, I registered a domain with Rochincher itself, but I will point the name servers to Cloudflare as that is where I manage my DNS. Something very important is that if your domain is registered with one company but uses a name server from another provider, DNS changes must be made where the domain is connected, not necessarily where it was purchased. If you are using the default name servers from Hostage, which are the ones shown on the screen, and you have active website hosting, many of these records are created automatically. However, you will be able to check if these records exist or add the Cloudflare configuration. Well, at this point, the third part involves actually setting up the necessary records. The very first thing I'm going to do is direct this new domain to Cloudflare. We're now in the domain management section, specifically in DNS and name service within the host. I'll go ahead and change name service and select the new records here. However, prior to that, it is necessary for me to access the Cloudflare website and proceed to add a domain at this location. After selecting that particular field to add a domain, we will subsequently enter our domain name. In this instance, we will input vpswizard.com, which is the web address we will utilize for this specific test. Here we'll get three options. We have the option to utilize this feature to transfer all the records from the previous provider, or if you lack the accurate records and prefer to input them manually, we can opt for this second alternative. If you already have the correct records, as I do here with hosts, to speed up the process I will use this option, but you can also enter them manually. In this section, we'll be redirected here. On Cloudflare, there are several paid plans, but for our needs, their free plan is more than enough. Let's choose the plan. One important thing about Cloudflare is that it is a platform that helps manage DNS and improves the security and performance of the site, as well as email. Therefore, it simplifies the process of preventing attacks on a website as well. That is the reason I consistently prefer to utilize Cloudflare. Several emails that are made with Titan. I will leave this link here in the description with all the details, but you will be able to check it in the same place indicated here by the guide, where to verify these records. Typically, you will discover these conventional records situated in this specific location within your domain management system. Subsequently, we will proceed to access Cloudflare. We are going to proceed by adding a new record here within the DNS zone. Subsequently, we shall configure it as a mail exchanger MX type record. We are going to proceed by adding here then mxtitan.email. In this particular section, you should set the priority level to 10. It requires a priority of 10 in this context. Afterward, we will save this record. Let's proceed by adding a new record specifically of type MX once more. Where is the MX here? Let's input the identical record in this location, but rather than labeling it as MX1, let's designate it as MX2 with the priority level set to 20. Let's proceed to save this particular record. Let's enter vpswizard.com in this field. In your case, you will enter the name of your domain, save it. And that's it. These records will ensure that you receive messages. To ensure that your domain is able to successfully reach the primary inboxes of your users and clients without being expanded, it is essential to incorporate several additional security and authentication records. I will furthermore leave all of these records here within the video description for Mayo Titan. Consequently, for the SPF certification, we shall add a new record, selecting it as txt this time, and incorporate the content here specifically for Titan. For the record name, we will also include the domain. Once that process is fully completed, simply save it. If in your specific scenario your email configuration is arranged differently within the domain for an alternative MX, you should remove and retain only the Titan ones. Here, as an example, we can observe that within MX, there are two standard row changer addresses alongside the ones we established for PO.
In this particular instance, we are able to observe that there is an incorrect address present, which I have just verified.
This particular record here must indeed be the VPS Wizard itself. Now let's proceed to update this specific record that I had previously created as it was incorrect. Let's maintain the name. These particular records here are the MX records specifically designated for Titan. We can observe additional records for the default Rostinger email service, which could potentially lead to conflicts. Therefore, let's navigate to this particular section to modify and eliminate these records. A single type of email service is permitted to be active at any one time per domain. It is not possible to connect to more than one type of email service simultaneously. Let's proceed to modify the second default MX record of the host in this location and remove it. In the event that there exists any additional MX record that does not originate from Titan, it is advisable to eliminate it. After setting up all the requested records, it is important to understand DNS propagation. These modifications may require as much as 24 hours to completely propagate throughout the internet and your service providers. During this period, email may function partially, there may be temporary instability, and some tests might even fail initially, but this is normal. Email usually stabilizes after about 24 hours. So now you've taken another step towards becoming an experienced internet wizard. Comment below which other topic you would like to see in the next videos. Your inquiry could potentially become the next featured content on the channel. Thank you so much for watching up to this point, and we'll see you next time.